This is Single-Pak Link. To learn more about the Gameboy Advance Single-Pak multiplayer functionality, such as how to connect compatible games with GBA link cables, be sure to check out my how-to video, link in the description. A Sound of Thunder on Game Boy Advance has quite an interesting backstory. It's based on a 2005 feature film which completely flopped. In fact, the movie flopped so hard that the planned console releases were canned. The main reason developer Mobius Entertainment and publisher BAM were able to rescue this GBA game was by reusing the engine that powered the GBA version of Max Payne, and it's easy to see the similarities between these two games. It's actually a really impressive GBA game, and the main campaign can even be played cooperatively in multi-pack mode. So it's amazing this game was released at all, and there's a high amount of quality here. But the most impressive part has to come from the single-pack link mode. Up to 4 players can compete in an isometric deathmatch from, count 'em, 7 different stages. The fact that a single-pack link mode was included at all and was somehow able to fit within the tiny amount of RAM in the GBA and was actually designed with thought is nothing short of staggering. For comparison, other isometric shooters on GBA like Boktai or even Terminator 3 had a multiplayer mode, but each player required their own cartridge. After loading the multiboot mode into empty GBAs, player 1, the host, can choose from 7 different stages, each with its own theme. Strangely, player 1 can only see the number of the stage, what you're seeing here, but the other players get to see the name of the stage on their screen as player 1 cycles through. But once a stage is selected, a very brief mini loading screen appears that just takes about 2 seconds, and then the deathmatch begins. The control scheme is simplified for a handheld experience with limited buttons. A shoots, B jumps, R locks your currently facing position while moving, and L cycles through available weaponry. The select button displays the current score, but it's the start button that's cleverly designed. It's important to mention that these deathmatches have no options or time restrictions. Players just blast the crap out of each other until player 1 decides it's time to switch stages. If player 1 presses start, a final score screen appears and then connected players are taken back to the level select screen. This is thoughtful design because players do not need to annoyingly turn off the GBA's power and reload the game if a new stage wants to be played, a restriction many other single-pack link modes require. Just be careful because pressing start ends the game without warning, it does not pause the game. With 7 available stages, the replay value is rather high too. Stage 1 is the warehouse, an open room with crates in the middle and some ladders. Stage 2 is called Altitude, and it takes place on a roof with some jump pads that make it easy to fall to your death. Stage 3 is the garage, a rectangle indoor space with car oil change-like slots in the floor. Stage 4 is called the Widest Garden, which is another large space with jump pads that can launch players really high, making it easy to fall off the back of the stage. Stage 5 is titled The Worst Place, and it reminds me of a map you might find in something like Quake, as there's a bunch of small interconnected rooms and lava pits. It's also easy to fall into this lava as the tight bridges are a little tricky to navigate from the isometric view. The 6th stage is Stairways to Hell, which is basically a Q*bert maze tower where most firefights will take place in the middle. The final stage is called Street Battle, which is an open street with a 1-room office on the side and a phone booth in the middle. You know, because phone booths are great deathmatch props. Each stage features power-ups, ammo pickups, and new weapons. There are jump pads and most stages are multi-tiered too. There is no music, as I can assume there wasn't any available RAM space left, but there are sound effects. It is also important to note that the auto-aim is very lenient, so there isn't much skill in aiming, but it is a necessary compensation due to the restrictions of the GBA hardware. Also, by today's standards especially, playing with 2 players is sorta boring as I hunt you and you hunt me, so it's advised to play with 3 or 4 players to really get the most out of this experience. For a licensed game based on a terrible movie, A Sound of Thunder on GBA is impressive all the way around. The fact that it was released at all is a bit of a miracle. But featuring impressive gameplay like this, especially in its single-pack multiplayer mode, is extraordinary. If you can get 3 other friends to huddle around with some link cables, this is one of the most impressive multiboot offerings on the system. So what do you think? Did you see A Sound of Thunder or read the original short story by Ray Bradbury? Do you enjoy time traveling by phone booth? What is your opinion about isometric licensed shooters on Nintendo's handheld hardware? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and until next time, game on.